Hey everyone, hope you're well. I just want to say thank you very much for the feedback on my last video here. It was frankly amazing, really good. And it's actually what inspired this video today because I received a lot of flattering, really kind comments. Actually about my physique, a lot of people saying, hey Ryan, you're looking really ripped right now, you look in great shape. There's me thinking, hold on a minute, I think I've looked pretty good since starting this channel. No, but I'm only messing. No, really, really flattering. And I do admittedly think that I have built a little bit of muscle over the last 12 months or so. So frankly, it's really validating to know that that shows to you guys. So I wanted to finally talk on this subject of the old protein. I think we all know that protein is really important in terms of muscle and tissue growth and repair. There are many variables in the equation of muscle building. I think we all know though that protein plays a rather large role in that. So today I wanted to sit down and we're about to actually jump into a voiceover where I walk you through some of my top plant-based protein sources for muscle building right now, what's making the cut in my diet, the pros and actually admittedly some of the drawbacks of the protein sources that I'm eating. And stick with me because after that I want to talk to you about protein targets for actually someone that's looking to build some muscle, but also frankly, not to sound condescending, but the average Joe that maybe just wants to lose a little bit of weight here, improve their health, isn't so bothered about the muscle building and just how maybe protein targets should differ for those two sets of people. And finally, we're going to talk about the rather controversial topic in the vegan plant-based space of amino acids. So that's what's coming up. Thanks for your time. I think you're going to enjoy this one if you're looking to build some muscle right now. And first up, we've got tofu, which is made from fermented soy milk. Extra firm tofu will give you an impressive 16 grams of protein per 100 grams, but you'll notice that it's relatively high in fat at almost 8 grams, meaning that tofu is more calorific than some of the other options we'll discuss. But I like it. I use it in my scrambles and in my stir fries. Tempeh is another soy derivative, this time made from fermented soybeans themselves. It is incredibly high in protein at 19 grams per 100 grams, so it's a little higher than tofu, but it's also more calorific at almost 170 calories. So as a trade-off, some folks don't think it's worth it, but I think tempeh is great in smaller amounts. I use a marinade of maple syrup, soy sauce, smoked paprika, black pepper, nutritional yeast, and a few herbs. TVP, short for textured vegetable protein, is, to be honest, not the most delicious thing in the world, but it is versatile. Once soaked, you can throw it into chilies, curries, bolognese, stews, soups, and so on. Now, admittedly, these numbers are dry weight, so it's not easily comparable to the other protein sources here, but its fat content is impressively low compared to tofu and tempeh, so it offers an excellent protein to calorie ratio. Something similar here, I occasionally use these pea and fava chunks, which again need soaking in water like the TVP. Dry weight, you're looking at 50 grams of protein for only 322 calories because the fat is so low, which is frankly outstanding. So another great way like TVP to add protein to your diet without adding loads of calories. Green lentils up next, 25 grams of protein for 100 grams dry weight. Just to contextualize, that's about half the amount of the TVP and the pea and fava chunks. So they aren't quite as rich in protein as some of the other items on our list, but we don't want to emphasize protein so much to the detriment of other nutrients in our diet because lentils are a wonderful source of nutrients, namely fiber. Beans are also a good source of protein, and like lentils, they contain a bunch of other nutrients too. Pinto beans are one of my favorites in terms of taste, and you're looking at 22 grams of protein per 100 grams for 340-ish calories. It's pretty similar data to the lentils. And black beans deserve a special mention here. They'll give you about 15 grams of protein per can. Seitan is next. I use this in bowls or stir fries. Seitan is made from vital wheat gluten and contains only 0.1 grams of fat per 100 grams, 13 grams of protein, all for only 75 calories per 100 grams. I cannot emphasize enough what a great ratio that is. Seitan is frankly a cheat code for getting lots of protein into your diet without adding loads of calories. By contrast, seeds are a protein source that do indeed allow you to add a few grams of protein to your diet, but you'll do that at the cost of adding lots of calories too. You can see hemp seeds here, which will give you 31 grams of protein per 100 grams. That sounds pretty good on paper, right? But you're looking at a whopping 600 calories to achieve that. Nuts are similar too. Our cashew nuts here will give us 18 grams of protein per 100 grams, but at the cost of almost 600 calories again. So nuts and seeds are a good source of protein, but their protein per calorie ratio is really quite poor compared to everything else I've shown you so far. Here's another protein cheat code, bean and lentil pastas. This chickpea pasta will give you 22 grams of protein per 100 grams. Switch that out for wheat or rice pasta and boom, you've just added extra protein to your diet. Soy milk, this one often surprises people with an impressive 3.3 grams of protein per 100 milliliters, which is slightly less than half a cup. So if you have a couple of cups worth of soy milk per day in your beverages, oatmeal, healthy cereal bowls, and so on, you'll easily get an extra 10 grams plus of protein, and it all adds up. And continued on that theme, let's also keep in mind that non-obvious protein sources still provide some protein, even vegetables, would you believe? And it's these little hits of 3, 4, 5 grams of protein here and there that all still contribute to your daily intake. Rolled oats here, for example, provide over 10 grams of protein per 100 grams in cups. That's about 9 grams of protein in a cup of oats. And 195 grams of cooked wheat brown rice, which is just over 1 cup's worth, that'll give you 5 grams of protein. And finally, that tablespoon of nutritional yeast that you throw onto some of your meals and dressings for that cheesy flavor. 2.5 grams of protein. It doesn't sound like a lot, but this stuff adds up. Now you know where I get my protein. How much do I actually consume per day? I promised we'd talk about protein targets at the start of this video. Well, I get somewhere over 130 grams per day. And this fluctuates based on a number of factors, but none more so than how much sport I'm doing at a given time. When I'm doing more sport, I'm eating more calories overall, and thus more protein. But here's what I want to stress, and this is important because there's a lot of random, arbitrary advice on the internet in the health world. 10,000 steps a day as though 9,000 isn't acceptable. Oh, you must eat 30 grams of protein per meal to build muscle or to lose fat. This is not me telling you that you should eat 130 grams of protein per day. That's simply what I do. I would never, ever be prescriptive like that because protein requirements, like every other nutrient, are entirely relative. The good news is, though, I'm about to give you my take on what I feel is an appropriate formula to start working out how much protein you should be eating. Now, for the average Joe, again, not to sound patronizing, that doesn't necessarily want to build some muscle or isn't extremely active, the research seems to suggest that somewhere in the ballpark of 0.7 grams and 1 gram of protein per kilo of body weight per day is advisable. However, if you don't fall into that camp, and like me, you do want to emphasize protein more than the average health-minded individual because you do have some muscle building ambitions or you are particularly active, I have found that somewhere between 1.2 grams to 1.6 grams of protein per kilo of body weight per day is certainly worth considering. This might be obvious, but I think it's also worth mentioning that protein intake is not the only variable in the equation of muscle building. You need to actually strength train and you need to do it well. This is what a lot of gym beginners understandably do wrong, is they go into the gym, they lift weights, and they think about moving that weight from A to Z. Instead, you want to concentrate on doing things with proper form, learning how to do the movement correctly to actually stimulate the muscle, and then improve your strength over time, with that progressive overload leading to strength and muscle gains, if you feed yourself correctly, that is. That's the exercise component, but another top tip on the nutrition front too, you'll also find that you likely struggle to build any significant muscle mass if you're in quite a deep calorie deficit. So it's not just protein intake you need to be on the ball with, it's thinking, am I providing my body sufficient calories to stimulate growth as well? And lastly, but briefly, I am surprisingly flippant, I think, on this subject of amino acids. I'll explain why in a second. I mean, I do have to concede that some basic knowledge of ingredient pairing and some knowledge of which foods have a complete amino acid profile will be beneficial to you, like soy, for example, which is incredible for that. But here's why I say I'm kind of flippant on the amino acid subject, or certainly for me personally, I'm quite laissez-faire about the subject, because when my diet is relatively diverse, like it is at the moment, where I'm pairing lots of different ingredients together, I consider amino acids, frankly, a minutia. And I've been able to build some muscle, as I say, over the last 12 months without really paying that much attention to them. And with my very relaxed approach towards amino acids now clarified, that's it for this video. I hope this helped you out. If you want some more help getting a lean and fit physique, click the link in the description box down below to learn more about my test program where I can personally help you do just that. See you in the next one.